the Jake and Nando Show. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I guess if you're on Periscope without Twitter, we're also there. So, what's up, Jakey Jakey?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it actually is. You can go to, I think, periscope.com or Google. How do I watch Periscope? I'm pretty sure you can do it free of Twitter.
Free of Twitter. There you go. You can get off the craziness of Twitter.
Welcome to our about 10-minute fantasy show for Waiver Wire. We want to get you set up and ready to go with your Waiver Wire pickups, your free agent bids, which Jake calls FOB and the rest of the world calls FAB. Just a quick, brief overview. If you got some questions, we'll try and get to them if you want to pop them in the comments section on whichever platform you're watching on. So, Jakey, let's get to it.
Hold on, no. I don't
Jakey,
call
get to it, Jake.
I don't call it FOB. I said it's FAB and it needs to have one A. FOB is the two A's. That's the problem.
We'll get it right one of these weeks,
Like
Jake.
the vehicle. What's the vehicle? How do you pronounce the vehicle? Saab.
Subaru. Special shout out to Jock Market for sponsoring this tomfoolery. Jake, I know this is ripe with a bunch of, I guess, trapdoors, and I know you have an answer for this that's not going to please everybody, but let's just say everyone plays in a 12-team league with half-point PPR, and it's like normal-ish rosters. Who's the one player that everyone should have on their radars and should be grabbing, even though he may be owned in some leagues that aren't particular to the people watching this right now?
Yeah, so apparently I'll put in the waiver column going forward. I forgot that not everybody has been following for years. But to explain what I tried to tell you means is, like, so I've been telling you for weeks, there's not much more I could say at this point if you've already had, like, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. So that's why they're there. And James Robinson is there. We've been talking about him in the offseason. Emery Hunt was talking about him. With the Awwwww injury, it was, hey, you need to go pick up this guy. You need to go pick up. And at this point, there's nothing left to say except, hey, by the way, he got every running back carry, all of them, 100% in week one. Chris Thompson was still out there, fourth most routes run, but James Robinson even ran a few routes. So James Robinson is still out there. I know it feels kind of like Jordan Howard-esque of, like, it's not flashy, it's not super exciting because he hasn't been a top 10 running back. It probably won't be. But there's no reason to ignore somebody.
Couldn't this be like David Johnson? When no one saw David Johnson coming? Like the old David Johnson, the pre-injury David Johnson.
I would never say the old David Johnson. Like, he's not on that talent level. I think Jordan Howard's a good comparison. Like, Jordan Howard, despite us, I say us, depending on some people in the community.
I love the guy, Jake. I love the guy.
Oh, you do? Well, so that's why I said us with quote. Like Emery, myself, the reason we don't like Jordan Howard is because you can find 20 running backs to do what he does. I feel like James Robinson's kind of like that. James Robinson doesn't have elite burst. He's not exceptionally elusive. He's not an Austin Eckler pass catcher, but he does a lot of things well enough that the 20 touches per game, he's probably going to fall in that range, and you can't ignore that.
You're kind of deflating all this James Robinson feel-good fun that we need right now, Jake.
No, because
Say something nice about the guy.
Jordan Howard, when used and when valuable, was worth it in fantasy. He was an RB2. That's right. James Robinson is a good comparison for Jordan Howard, or vice versa.
Let's talk about the fallout from this Connor injury, the James Conner. For a second there, I'm like, wait, is his first name James? Because he just said James a lot, and I'm only thinking he's James Conner because he's been saying James Robinson. You know, that kind of lack of sleep, Jake? Welcome to
Wait,
Tuesday.
Is it really John, like the movie, even though he's not the Terminator?
Is it really Jake?
Jake Conner?
Yeah. Anyway, James Conner, hurt. We don't know much of what's going on here. Any details we'll probably get by the end of the week, but it's important to be prepared. The Benny Snell show went off last night. Was this against the Giants? Is he really that good? We did this whole Jalen Samuels, Benny Snell thing last year, and there really wasn't a winner. Are we destined to repeat this every year, Jake, like Joker and Batman?
Well, so there's a couple things here with this situation. So Benny Snell being slimmed down and in better shape legitimately did look a step quicker in that game. And actually, there was a play, if people want to go back and watch, you can see where I just had a brain fart. This is all right how tired I am. The safety for the Giants that they got from the Browns, why can't I think of his name? I could stare him in the face.
Let's just say John something. John James.
John Safety. Why can't I think of his dang on name? Anyway, he came down on a run to the left, and he tried to take an angle, and he missed Snell, and Snell ran past him because he assumed he was still slow. He is a step quicker. Is he super fast? No. There's two things here. When James Conner's healthy, Mike Tomlin is going to use him as the bell cow. He uses him 70 to 80% of the time for as long as he'll last. The problem with Snell is that, as we saw last night when he took over, he uses Samuels more like 35% of the time. It's not that same workload as James Conner.
Brendan
Jabril
came.
Peppers.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you. God,
Thank you,
I couldn't think
Brendan.
of Jabril Peppers. Good grief.
Here's another one.
Yes.
Sorry, we're American football, Dan. But still, you love Jake. He's great.
Yeah, American football. In any case, so Snell would be the guy, but it sounds like they're already going to try and play Connor in week 2. Even if he's out for week 2, Snell falls more into the low-end RB2 range. Again, because Samuel's more... The thing is, Samuels is more of a threat to Snell than Snell and Samuels are to Connor when Connor is out there.
Sure. Let's group this with Frank. How's that going to shake out?
Group this with who?
Frank Gore. I mean, let's assume Le'Veon Bell's going to be out for a second. Frank Gore, I mean, if you put him in this little mix of Benny Snell, like right now, people have to make decisions tonight. Where would you put Frank Gore in that hierarchy?
I didn't even put Frank Gore in the waiver article. Don't even waste your time. Josh Adams, Frank Gore. It's going to be a split backfield. It's the Jets. The only person you need to worry about in the Jets is Jamison Crowder and Chris Herndon. That's it. The end. Move on.
That's hurtful to all of our Jets fans out there.
I don't think they're even watching. They're too depressed.
Is it safe to say, so if you got James Robinson and Nyheim Hines is out there, Jakey, and this is a PPR league, which I found this very interesting, that Indianapolis backfield, like I thought it was going to be a guy who runs and a guy who catches after Marlon Mack went down, and it wasn't. Both of them were running and both of them were catching. So is this like a carbon copy of, do we have two of the same guys in the backfield in Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines? Or are they going to fall into more traditional Jonathan Taylor run, Nyheim Hines catch roles as we go along?
They're going to fall more into that. Nyheim Hines is what, hey, can I go do my victory lap exercises?
Like, hold on, I'll give you the full screen. Let me hit the button. Go ahead, Jakey, go for it.
I was warming up to take my victory lap. That's what I was doing. Like, Nyheim Hines is James White. He'll get a few runs, but he's now better James White. He was James White when Mack was still involved. Now Mack is out of the equation. He's better James White, and that's what you have to look at here. Jonathan Taylor is going to be the guy. Jonathan Taylor is probably going to fall inside my top 15 running backs for this week's rankings, but Nyheim Hines is still going to be a very strong top 30 running back, and he might even be sitting on that fringe RB2 conversation.
I think we were talking about this last week on this video about how just why aren't more people going after Nyheim Hines, man? Even without Marlon Mack getting
You've
hurt.
been on him. You take your victory. You were there with me.
I bought his trading cards.
There you go.
Yeah.
Warm up for your victory lap with me.
Jake, I know. Come on, man. Act like you. I'm in a suit.
You were about to say act like you've been there.
Yeah. Jake, what's up, Corey Davis? Is this a post hype breakout, Corey Davis?
So I will say this. There's two things here. So this is coming from somebody that kept saying go draft Corey Davis in the last round because he's free now. Yep. Because of this cost. He was going 5th, 6th round last year. I said the reason is because he might be Devontae Parker. I'm not saying he's Devontae Parker after 1 week. It's only one game. And if you told me A.J. Brown versus Corey Davis, it's still A.J. Brown. And it's still an offense that doesn't pass a ton. All that being said is A.J. Brown was inconsistent last year. You were talking about somebody around 50 receptions that finishes as a fringe wide receiver 1. It's going to come week in and week out. Corey Davis would have to probably kick Jonnu aside as the number. Like, Jonnu had a nice game. Somebody has to be left out when Tannehill is the quarterback, and that's my concern. But Corey Davis is worth at least grabbing and putting on your bench in case he is Devontae Parker light.
Would you drop Mecole Hardman?
Yes.
Oh,
nobody. Right. No, people should not have been drafting Mecole Hardman. Like, I don't know.
I like him, Jake.
Yeah, you like him. Why? Because in case Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins get hurt, he was like 5th in the team. Like, how many? I think it was Evan Silva. He tweeted this out and said that every game that Sammy Watkins and Hill were both healthy, he had 13 targets total in all those games. Like, he's not involved.
There you go.
There you go. Why would people draft him? Thank you.
Know. Let's get to a question. Do you like Snell or Hines more in a non-PPR?
Hines.
In non-PPR?
Still Hines.
Hines has that staying power. I mean, Hines is going to be there all season, right?
That's why. Like,
yeah.
Snell is. Here's the problem with Snell. And this, I said this on Pat's show earlier today. The problem with Snell.
The whole plug? Pat Mayo, our friend.
Yeah, I think most people understand Pat Mayo.
I don't know about that, Jake. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe. Hey,
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, Pat Mayo of the Mayo Media Network. There you
go.
So Nyheim Hines has staying power. Here's the problem with Snell. Unless Connor is completely out, you're not ever going to want to start Snell because what we talked about before, Tomlin is going to use Connor as long as he lasts. So you're never going to say, well, they have a good matchup, I'll start Snell also. You're not. You're just so you would need Connor to be completely out. And how many times does Connor start a game and then not finish it? you can't predict that with Snell. So that's why I would take Hines even in non-PPR.
Jake, really quickly, where does Johnny 10 targets, also known as Curtis Samuel, fit into your waiver wire ranks this week? Is he? You should get him. He got 10 targets in a Teddy Bridgewater team with a new coaching staff. Or is it just game script? Sorry.
Game script, who is matched up against, is still DJ Moore first, and Robbie Anderson saw plenty of work and has the big playability. So I would have to see. The biggest thing about Teddy Bridgewater is it comes down to, is he going to attempt 600 passes this year? Then I might get interested in Curtis Samuel because he's kind of in that Russell Gage conversation that's similar with the Falcons.
Oh, funny you bring up Russell Gage. Our friend Alan Fang has a question. Gage or Perriman at 0.5 PPR?
I'm not ready to bury Perriman yet. I'll hold for one more week on Perriman just because that was so miserable for the Jets in week 1. And he's the number 2. Russell Gage is the number 3. If they're that close, I'm gonna take the guy who's on the field more. And right now it's still Perriman. I know Russell Gage was out there a ton, but Matt Ryan also threw the ball 60 times. He's not gonna throw it 60 times every week.
You don't know that. Jakey, one last question from your buddy Nando. If someone's upset with their tight end situation, they don't like what they have. TJ Hawkinson's out there. Noah Fant is out there. Who do you put the bid on? If you got to pick one of those two, who are you putting your bid on? Tough one, right? These are like both your children, JK.
Both my children. Sophie's choice? Is that what you're going?
No, well, I mean, a little more lighthearted than that, Jake. But
I'll still go Hawkinson just because this is Noah Fant without Cortland Sutton. I think it's going to be tougher for Fant to find consistency, and I know Hawkinson had no Kenny Golladay, same situation, but I trust Stafford over Locke, and that's what it really comes down to.
All right. The kind of fastest 11 minutes and all that is arts. We'll be back on Thursday. Want to thank Jock Market again for the help with this. TheAthletic.com/cheat sheet gets you can read Jake and then like all of The Athletic for $1 a month right now. That's our special if you're watching this. If you watch the full 12 minutes and 13 seconds, there's your deal, $1 a month. Jake, before we go, just hammer home the 3 names that people need to consider in their waiver wires if they're just kind of lost right now in week 1.
As you fade off the screen.
Go for it, Jake.
James Robinson, no question about it. At wide receiver, I was shocked to find that Mike Williams was under 60% owned. I'm assuming because people thought he was hurt to start the season.
Yeah.
And then
just assume, right? With that guy, just assume.
Yeah, just assume. And then I'm going to go to quarterback. I told you, Minshew is startable. Minshew is a startable every week quarterback until further notice. He throws fewer interceptions than Blake Bortles, and he's Blake Bortles when it comes to running and aggressiveness. Go get Gardner Minshew, please.
Nice use of fewer. Stannis Baratheon will be proud, Jake. If you don't
fewer
know,
and less. Although, did you see that? Did you see that they actually AP style allows for less now when fewer is supposed to be used?
No, because I have a life. But thanks for pointing that out, Jakey Style Guide. Thank you all for joining us. We hope this is helpful. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back Thursday. We'll probably do these around 3 o'clock Eastern time if you want to set your watch to when Jake's going to be live. And you can drop in questions and join the whole gang with your comments. Thank you all very much. We love you very much. Thank you for supporting The Athletic. I'm stalling while I find the little thing that says The Athletic that I can put on screen so we can get out of here. Jakey!